Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. Off you go.
Got it. I think really with DNA, don't forget that upstairs is the if you like, they're the people responsible or the energy responsible for do any healing. So I think that if you just ask the question, is there any work needs to be done on the family DNA, and you get a yes,
Yeah.
Bat it back up to upstairs and let them decide on what needs to be done, because we're not geneticists, if that's the right word for it. But trust in what upstairs can do, and then douse maybe a couple of days later and just see if that's been successful or not.
I think it's good for all of us to remember that the real basis of all of the work that we do, no matter whether we're following a specific healing protocol, but the foundational work is that essence of love. And Jenny, apart, you know that, right, from from way back, and but I think we do get kind of pulled back into our humanistic way of thinking when we get faced with something like, well, what do we do with this? What, we have that question like, what? So we get pulled back into the humanistic aspect. But to remember that, a lot of the healing work that I do, I know Dawn does exactly the same thing, and certainly Adrian does, but, we just are really acting as that portal, that point of awareness for the compassion of the management to actually come through and affect something. And quite frankly, we open the gates and we open that portal, we open that connection, and we allow that to flow through without it really touching the sides. When we ask the question, what do we do here? How do we do this? We're kind of making the flow touch the sides a lot, and it becomes a chunky thing. So just remember, always remembering whenever we're faced with something that's new, yes, ask the questions of the management, like Adrian says, because you might get given a specific process that we need to go through. But the bottom line is always just to focus and send that loving, compassionate intention through your point of awareness. And I think really that's the way that I was dealing with that kind of genome illustration that I printed out. It's just to connect to it and ask, is this okay? And it's like, well, yeah, that's fine. We'll just go with it. Dawn, I don't know whether you've got any more thoughts on any of that.
No, I think it's all been well said, and Melanie has had her hand up very patiently there. So if you want to ask your question and then roll into just your update for us, Melanie.
Okay. Linda and I were at Kate Smart's spirituality talk, weren't we, Linda, the other day? Can you hear me? Am I unmuted? Yeah. And she was talking about ancestry, and if you want to chime in as well, Linda, it was very interesting because she was working with the ancestors in a very, very positive way. And I mean, that was fascinating, wasn't it, Linda? All the different things.
It was, and it's made me feel that I want to explore it more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
which I know involves registering with Ancestry as well to get the information to start with, because it wasn't just your own personal ancestors, it was also your spiritual ancestors, which was even more interesting. Yeah.
As a druid, we work with ancestors, and we work with ancestors of blood and bone and land and tradition. So it's not just, as you say, it's a spiritual as well. But that actually working with making contact with your ancestors is another way of doing that. And you that's a bit more complicated when it's someone else. But just it was an interesting talk. Anyway, sorry, I lowered my hand. What have I been doing? Did you say, Dawn? Just before I started, I had a friend asking about her house. She lives in Essex, and she's just discovered that she might be losing her house. And she was in a terrible panic, as you can imagine. And so she was asking me to do a spell to save her house. And I said, well, talk to the house. So we were discussing about the 3 guardians. I was explaining all the things you can do about talking about the fabric of the house and the land and the actual spirit of the house. So that was interesting because she's psychic by profession. So I've got to start talking to her house, hopefully, before the surveyor turns up next week. But we shall see. So
thanks, Melanie. Erica, for those that have just joined, we're just doing a quick, 30-second, 1-minute update on where we're at. So Erica is next on my celebrity swears.
Hello, everybody. Still
in the infancy stage, I would say, still trying to figure out which way I want to go and what do I want to include and not include. If anything, I'm finding that I'm getting maybe too caught up in the possible things that could come up rather than just getting on the ground running. So I'm kind of stuck in that initial stage of just putting myself out there. No questions yet. Not awake enough.
I think many of us get into that loop, Erica, and maybe we should have a coffee sometime and see if we can unstick you out of the reel, hamster wheel. Linda.
Yes, hello, Dawn. Well, I've had no house healing jobs at all in the last 2 or 3 months. I have had people healing jobs. So I've had some work to do. So that's been good. And I do tarot readings. I've had tarot readings. So at least I've had something to do, but no house healing. I have a few days ago put my next video together, which I'm still learning with. So it's still a bit of an experiment. And it's on home healing. So by the end of this week, with a little bit of help and assistance from Melanie, putting some tweaks on for me, she makes it sparkle and look nice. I'm hoping it'll be on YouTube by the end of this week. And the theme of it is the 2 types of home healing that I do. Either I go to the house, if it's in my local area in North Yorkshire, or I do the remote house healing. And I've tried to swing it in the video that it's better for the remote work because it's more convenient and it doesn't matter where you live. So I hope that'll be on by the end of the week. I wanted to ask Tim if he was going to do a follow-up on his video instruction, putting it together, because I have had a few little queries and problems, and I wouldn't mind if there was another session to kind of go over, what I've learned so far and the missing bits.
Yeah, there's still a lot missing, especially in terms of actually getting it online on YouTube and actually taking your video structure, if you like, making the video to the next level to actually improve it and make it more interesting for the viewer if possible. But I mean, there's quite a lot, and so it is my intention that we do another session. What I think what we might do for the next one, I won't go into too much detail now because I haven't formulated the detail, but I think maybe what we should do is just let's get a group together and I think that there's more than we can really cover in one session. The last one was evidence that there's so much to it. 2.5 hours or whatever it was last time was insane. So I don't want to do that again. So I think we want to put more structure to it, and let's just bear with me, but keep nagging me. And if you've got specific questions, drop me an email, unless there's a million questions, and I'll see if I can help you on that. I was just wondering whether I might actually be able to do a video for you, but I'm not sure that that's easy. So let's just see. Start with an email and we'll go from there, Linda. But well done. I've got to say, well done for the 2/ the third one that you're working on now, because we'll talk a bit more about it again at some other point, maybe later on today. But bloody well done for doing it and giving it a go, and well done on the content, because it's great. Once you relax into it a bit more and you feel a bit more at home with it, it's fantastic. It's a great way to go. And your channel, although you'll feel like nothing's happening, I was looking at it earlier today, and I think you've got a reasonable amount of hits on your channel, which is brand new. You've only got 2 videos on there, and you've got, was it 86 or something views now? Okay, so that's not a lot.
100 and
Right.
something on the other one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
terrific. Yeah. I mean, that's really good.
It's worth trying. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Thank you.
really good. You should be encouraged by it. Right. I'll shut up now. Go on, off the door.
Thank you both. Nicola, you're next up.
Oh, hello everybody. This is my first meeting. I'm still very new to it all. Coming to the end of my training sessions with Tim, got about a couple of meetings left now, and I seem to be caught up in a loop of continually healing masses of spirits. I have moments when it eases up a little bit and I think, oh great, I've cracked it. And then all I can describe them is a constant tsunami day and night of all these spirits.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
okay. So let's just pick up on that a second, because actually I'd like Adrian's input on this, because it is an interesting one, because I've tried to help you with this, and it's also exactly the circumstance that dear old Anna, you know, we all love Anna Schmidt, unfortunately no longer a member, but it's exactly this circumstance that she had, and she got round it, as I was saying to you, Nicola, by basically having a waiting room outside of her house, and everybody come through, goes to the waiting room, and she then dealt with them when she had the time and it was convenient for her to do that. And in the end, she got into sort of bulk clearing, if you like, and that's how she dealt with it. Adrian, have you come across this before, where somebody basically seems to be caught up in this eternal loop of admittedly asking the management what needs to be done, and the management saying, well, look, these people need to be heal. It needs to be healing to go on. You need to keep sitting in meditation and doing it. And then basically, as far as I can see, and Nicola, correct me if I'm wrong, there's this, you are not only working with new spirits coming through that want to be passed on and removed or helped across, but also you're constantly going back on the same old people as well.
yes.
Is that right? Yes, right.
Yes.
Adrian, have you
I
got any
did
thoughts?
find out yesterday that a lot of them were World War II spirits. And very much like the example in Adrian's book, where they had to be brought back to the army training ground, which happens to be somebody on the healing course that I'm on. They seem to be the main common denominator of all these spirits.
I think, Tim, hello to everybody, it's when you first start doing these, not just house healing work, but working with spirit and a soul rescue, it is so exciting. And you just want to be doing it all the time because it's so rewarding, it's so humbling to do. But the trouble is, if the spirit world or the universal energy, whatever we want to call upstairs, knows that you're there 24/7, they will use you 24/7. There will be no switch off. So the best thing to do is, if you've got your diary at home or if you've got a calendar, is just perhaps on a Tuesday and a Thursday between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I will be spending those 2 hours doing soul rescue. And apart from that, if anybody else wants to come along, as Tim rightly said, and that's the way I had to do it, because in the early days, even my youngster was saying, look, I can't even fit in the house because there were so many spirits in here to be moved on all the time. Things were moving all over the place. So I just said, look, just go sit outside. There's a couple of park benches outside my house, and I will get to you when I can possibly get to you, which will be on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Friday, whenever's convenient. But you know, have a switch off point for you, because if you're available all the time, then you will be available all the time.
Yeah, I've tried that before, and it does work from time to time, and then it just all goes back to continual again.
Yeah, write it down, because it's really good. I mean, the written word is incredibly powerful anyway, because it's so easy to say to upstairs, look, I'm only going to do it between a Tuesday and a Thursday. And you get to Wednesday and you think, there's somebody outside needs to be moved on. And suddenly you've opened up the floodgate again. So yeah, try and stick to those times or whenever's convenient. You'll find it'll calm down for you.
Okay, thank you, Adrian.
Okay.
I think one of the things that is you know, I think this is the case, because we can only speculate on this stuff. One of the things is that our experience of reality, our conscious experience of reality, is driven by what is going on in our subconscious. So our subconscious is processing and making decisions, and all the time, just a tiny bit. I mean, it is literally a second, or I can't remember what the figure is, but subconscious is processing away, and what comes through to the conscious awareness, in other words, what we experience day to day, is as a result of the subconscious processing. So when we're dealing with something like this, then what we need to be actually affecting is our subconscious programming, because our subconscious programming is actually saying, I want to do this work. I love doing this work. Bring it to me. This is fantastic. I have found myself. That's what your subconscious is saying all the time. And as Adrian says, as soon as anything links your conscious mind into that kind of energy, then you're basically opening the floodgates again, and there it is. So the only way around this is for you to do the principle that Adrian's talked about, and we talked about before, Nicola, which is what you're actually doing is reprogramming your subconscious with your conscious mind. Because you've got to actively do the things, write it down, make the decision, set the time frame. And as you do that consciously, the energy goes back up the line to the subconscious and reprograms eventually the subconscious. It's a bit like rowing against a tsunami, but that is what you have to do in order to actually retain your sanity for the work that you want to do in the future, because you can't carry on like you are.
I've tried those techniques before. I haven't tried writing it down, so I'll try that.
If I can just add, to something. So I started my house healing work as a spirit rescue medium. I sat in circle for well over a year, learning how to be a spirit rescue medium from a spiritualist kind of perspective. And one of the things that was absolutely drilled into me was the need for kind of having a close sign, psychic protection every day, not just when you're doing the work, but really, having your shop door closed and the close sign up, so that you can live your life in a normal way, and then choose to open up and to do that work. Otherwise, you are going to spend 24 hours a day doing this work. So it is a practice that you have to get into the habit of doing every morning as soon as you wake up.
I do that. Yeah, I definitely do the psychic protection.
And maybe look at some different ways to do it, because you need to find one that's going to work for you, so that you are closed down. Because I have met many people who just become overwhelmed and exhausted doing this work. So it's really, really, really important.
Yeah, I use the technique in Adrian's book, the opening and closing.
And maybe try a few others, as well, and find one, that works for for you. But it is so important, and I'm really glad that you asked that question. So thank you. And Melanie, again, have you had your hand up there?
Sorry, Dawn. Have you come across Sue Allen at all? I put a video up of her. I think it was on the Knights Rose page. She is she's a professional. You would know who she was, Dawn. Sue Allen. She's amazing. Yeah. There's a video up talking about what you're talking about, how you have to be very strict with them, and the book is excellent. I've got the book as well. I when I was 17, I went to a spiritualist church undercover and ended up doing what Dawn was saying about spirit release, and it was World War I soldiers and all sorts of things.
Yes.
It really freaky, because I was so young, and they didn't even know they were dead. They were still running through the fields.
Yes.
And heartbreaking, but it made me realize how different the world is. And they will stop if you ask them. You just have to say, not good today, and like you say, just give her time. But look, watch the video of Sue Allen, and maybe have a look at the book as well. It really helped me.
Thank you, Melanie. I'll do that. Thank you.
And can I just say, sorry, Dawn, don't interrupt, is just, don't forget, I tend to find within the spirit world, time just goes by. So they may be dead for 200 years, but to them, it doesn't seem like 200 years. So, take your time with it. And it really, just don't be dictated to. Tell them what you need to do, and they will, just move them through when you've got the time to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Totally agree. Thank you. Marie, you're next on my Celebrity Squares.
Hi. Well, I haven't really done much with my house healing, just friends and family. And my biggest block is trying to come up with a name for my business. So, as Dawn well knows. So, but I'm trying to incorporate a bunch of different things into it, including bees and stuff from bees. So, honeybees, that is.
Don't forget to use the Knights Rose, network Facebook group. You can just pop a few on there and see what people think, and maybe, get them to generate some as well. And at some point, you're just going to have to pick one and get done.
What? I always say to people, when they get stuck on this, just go with your name and just put house healer after it.
Yep.
What is it? Bell, isn't it? Mary Bell?
Mary Bell, yeah.
Yeah. Mary Bell House Healing for the time being. And buy you get a domain with that, www.marybellhousehealing.com. Do that and step on. And what will happen as you then come to look at the page and think about it, because that's only going to cost you a few bucks. It's not a lot of money to register a domain.
No.
But then you've got to think about how you're presenting yourself and what you're doing. And what we don't want you to do is get stuck on that, for weeks, because you want to get it absolutely perfect. It's not about getting it perfect. You just get something up there, think about it like you're redecorating a room, slap a bit of wallpaper on the wall, make good, coat of paint. That'll do for the time being. And then actually what will happen, once you start to get more experience as doing the work, it'll all fit into place, and you'll change that and you'll grow from that. And whatever you do right now as a novice house healer, as a beginner, whatever you put on your website, that's going to radically change within 10 to 12 months.
Okay. Thank you.
Just do it. I think was the advice. Thanks, Marie.
But equally, if you're not happy with that, Marie, do put all of your suggestions on the Facebook page and make use of the group, because everybody will pitch in with their ideas. If you want to do it that way, that's absolutely fine. And do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dawn, thanks.
Blossom, you're next.
Yeah, hi. So I had so far one client, but not for a whole house healing job, because the person who contacted me lived in a van. So I focused on the personal energy field, and then also on the car itself. And I had a few tarot readings, but yeah, well, that's it. And otherwise, I just focus now to still do YouTube videos and try to keep up with that.
Don't feel down about it. It's great. You've had one client and you've done that, and presumably they did you get any feedback from the people that were in the van? Yeah.
Yes,
and
yes. It was really good feedback. I'm still in contact with her.
Good. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
And,
well done. Keep at it.
Pop your YouTube channel on the network, Facebook, so we can all swing by and give you a like and subscribe, because we really should be supporting each other as well.
Yeah.
Shannon.
Hi, I missed the first 10 minutes, so I'm just assuming that we're telling a little bit about what we're doing and our accomplishments. Well, thank you. I've taken the year course with Dawn and have Adrian's books, and been part of this group for a while now, and learning as much as I can. The learning never stops. I've since had one new client, other than the two that I did within the project, within the year learning, and it's worked out quite well. It was a very, very large house, and it was a friend of mine. And I did it back in August, and it required a few sessions, so August and September. And we kept making an appointment for me to come there physically, because luckily for this situation, it was close enough for me to go and verify everything that I found. And I was excited because I had found 6 vortexes in her house and all kinds of other neat things. And though they were nice on paper and on the floor plan, I couldn't wait to go measure them. So I did finally get a chance to go over the report. I didn't get into everything as much as I would like to, but it turns out months have gone by now, and I finally got there a couple weeks ago, and she was very blown away because she's not one of those that are too much of a believer, and we know those. So when things started to come into fruition, and we know with time, with dowsing, it's not right on. So things in my report that I had given her in August were now showing up, and she was blown away by the details. And in the personal part, there was some psychic attack going on with her, and I had narrowed it down to a description of the person and the age of the person, and these were true. The man was 44 years old, and he was the description was correct. So these things are all really validating, and I felt really good that these things are true. And no matter what I may have thought at the time, I try not to let any of my own thoughts interfere. Just get the information that's coming in and trust yourself. And that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. Trust yourself. Trust what you're getting, and let any other thoughts that try to interfere with that go. And this is what I did, and this is what I put in the report, not knowing what or how. And it's turned out really good. And now I'm kind of ready for the next step. She's offered to do a testimonial for me. She would like me to come back and do it again. And I feel perhaps this could be a help to recommend me. For me, I already had a business online selling energy tools, and I do aura analysis with a biopulsar reflex so that your hand goes on a scanner. But with dowsing, of course, we know we can do auras without any machine. So for me, it was adding a page to my website, but I really need to promote it, and I really need to get out there. And so that's where I'm at right now. Thanks for allowing me to share. One more thing is I thought about going into home shows and perhaps kind of offering advice about technopathic stress, things that are on the level that everyone will understand, and then the other stuff will come naturally. That's it for me. Thank you.
Congratulations, Shannon. That's amazing.
Brilliant. Dawn, can I just say something on that?
Yeah, please do.
Is that okay? It's interesting because I think with a lot of us, because we do most of our house healing from a distance, it's very rare that we actually go into people's houses afterwards or before and after. Now, I was working for quite a well-known personality, and they had this guest suite, and they were away. They spend months abroad doing all sorts of stuff. They had this guest suite. So I sort of lived in the guest suite, went to go and see the house before I did the work. I had a wander around, and I couldn't wait to get out of it, although it was quite an intriguing house. It just felt awful. And I went then and sort of did the work living in the guest suite, which was detached from the house. Then about 4 days later, went back in the house and actually then felt the complete change of the house. And it's lovely just to be able to give you, because I've been doing it for years, as many of us have, but it's just nice sometimes to actually go in and feel that actually you have made a difference to somebody's house. I know it's important getting feedback from clients, but to actually just be there and just feel the energetic changes, yeah, it's a nice boost. Yeah, it was an interesting point for me to do, not that many years ago either.
Yeah, I think I would always encourage house healers that are close to their clients to go and visit,
Yep.
just because it's a great thing. But I haven't got many of my clients that are close, so yeah, I haven't been on site for a long time. But yeah, good, brilliant. Shannon, I was just actually thinking there when you were talking that your business, you may well find as you start to promote the house healing more, that your business model will actually change over so that the house healing becomes the lead, and the other stuff absolutely is a supplementary to the house healing, which it's no bad thing. It's let's see how it goes. I'm looking forward to hearing how you get on with all of this. It's great. Terrific.
Maybe I should be putting it on the front page of my website. Not maybe, but
exactly.
That's the next step. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, terrific.
Lovely, thanks, Shannon. And finally, Nick, we're just doing a quick check-in where you're at.
Is he with us? I know he comes in from work. Nick, are you there, mate? No, I don't think he's there. I think he's at a nip out. He's when he's at work in the shop. So
yeah.
We can't tell when he's on mute. But he could be talking. He could be talking.
Could be talking and we don't know. Well, we can always catch him up later. I think at everybody on the squares, shout out if I've missed anybody. And if not, then Tim and Adrian, over to you guys.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Dawn. It's fantastic, excellent. What's lovely about this is we've spent 40 minutes or so in the meeting today going around the room, and do you know what? It's actually one of the things I was going to suggest that we do when we have these Q&A sessions, every 3 months as they stand at the moment. Because what's missing, I feel, in our meetings from this 1 year that has passed, we're going through a year already in this current format. What's missing is exactly what we've just experienced, which is to hear about how is everybody doing? What are the issues we're facing? Where are we? And as you've all heard, what's wonderful is that actually a lot of you are at the same stage. A lot of you are, you've had 1 or 2 clients, and that's fine. And you might be feeling like, oh God, I'm trying to make a business out of this. I'm trying to earn some money here. But actually, in understanding that, okay, that's okay. You're all right. That's where it's going to start. You can only get that feeling and understand that by actually sharing and seeing what everybody else is doing. And not only that, as we've also experienced, if you've got particular issues, this is the place to share them, to bring them up, and you will definitely get input from everybody in all its forms. So terrific. And what I suggest is that when we have our next session like this, our next Q&A, I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing, and Adrian will pitch in on this shortly. But when we have our next Q&A, which is in May, I would suggest that we actually spend a little bit longer in that session doing what we've just done. So whoever is present, we've got 12 of us here today, 13. We'll do the same thing. Catch up. Let us know where you are. Let us know what you're facing, what you're dealing with. How can we help, etc., etc., etc. It's brilliant. It's lovely, because at least it also gives me a chance to get to know some of you that have done the coursework through with Dawn, and at the moment, you're literally just faces. So it's really good to hear about how you're getting on and all the rest of it, and just sharing. Fantastic. So that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Really good. The other thing I did want to do today, and forgive, somebody wave a big yellow flag if I get really tedious and boring about this. I just wanted to fill you in on where I'm thinking we should be moving the network as we go through this next year. Because to me, I can't believe we're already a year on in this format. It's brilliant, but it's gone so bloody quickly, like Dawn said. Now, just a general point. Because we're a year on, I'm starting to send out the annual renewals for subscriptions. So bless you, some of you have received them and paid them, and thank you very much for doing that. It really does help. Gently, basically, just to remind you, your fees become due on the anniversary date of your joining. So those of you that joined in the summer, you'll be getting your annual renewal invoice in the summer. Forgive me if I don't sort of preempt it with a, next week I'll be sending you an invoice. If you want to carry on being a member, then please send, you might just get an invoice out of the blue is what I'm saying, and that's purely down to admin. So forgive me if it comes as a bit of a shock or surprise, but hopefully you'll all carry on being members, because I think we've got something really quite amazing going on, even though it's still embryonic. So let me just take you through what we've got lined up for the next few months, because actually I was talking to Adrian a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying that I really want us as a network to be able to do exactly what we've just done, but in a more formalized structure. By that I mean talk about our business. But then I realized, as I was thinking more about today, I realized that actually we've got 6 months of sessions basically lined up for us all. So I'm not going to suggest that we make any changes, despite my conversation that I was having with Adrian. And we carry on as we're doing. So we're going to have speakers in for 2 sessions, and then we'll have another Q&A, and then we'll go on like that for a good first half of this year. So in where are we? So in April, so in March. Now then, Melanie, Right, bless her. I've invited Melanie to give us a talk next month about magic and druidry and all of that side of her wisdom. I'm looking forward to that. I think that'd be really fascinating. So, and bless her, she's completely agreed and on board with that. So thank you very much for that, Melanie. That's great. I'm looking forward to that. Then in April, we have the pleasure of a British dowser, Gary Biltcliffe. Now, Gary was the fella who, I think with his wife, was it, who discovered the Bolineus line or traced that. Caroline, is it? Yeah. I don't actually know Gary. I don't know his work very well. But again, looking forward to that, because as far as dowsing earth energy goes, my feeling about it, and Dawn could probably fill this in as well, my feeling about it is that Gary is a really good egg, and definitely worth having on board. So I'm really actually personally really pleased with the caliber of speakers that we've had come to talk to our group. And one of the things that's really lovely, and you should all be appreciative of this, in other words, congratulate yourselves. Every speaker that's come along has actually mentioned how lovely you all are as a group. Your energy is fantastic, but also how many of you are present. Because, like, for example, last time with Julie Soskin, there were 10 or 12 or however many of you there were, and she was like, "Oh, this is great. This is great. Thank you so much," and blah, blah, blah. And I know that a lot of you signed up for her stuff. So that was terrific. That was really good. So you should be really, congratulate yourselves, give yourselves a pat on the back or have a cup of tea or something. And it's nice. It's good. Let's carry on doing that. So in May, we'll be hitting our kind of business meeting, the one out of the three, and I'm going to hand that over to my colleague again, to Adrian. Adrian's going to host that. I don't think he's aware of that yet, but Adrian in May will be primarily hosting that one. So we'll be basically picking up on what we're talking about again today and pulling some more threads along that line.
Thank you, Tim. For just chucking that sort of right at me, but at least I've got a couple of months to prepare. That's fine.
It's fine. I think the key thing is that as you all know, all we are doing is sharing our experience, and there are other people. Now, it might be that what we want to do in the future, the second half of the year, maybe we want to get some specialists in marketing, in email marketing, or in search engine optimization, that sort of thing. So like the fact that we've had specialists in the subtle arts coming to talk to us, it sounds like something out of Harry Potter, but we've had those people come in to talk to us. But maybe we can get the specialists in business development in as well. Now, they may want some payment. I don't know. I've never dealt with that sort of person. So let's see. But let's see how that goes. So really what I'm saying is Adrian will be running the May group. The group in May, I'll be here, but let's carry on as we are. But we always want your feedback, any of you. We want your feedback. Drop me an email to let me know if you're feeling like, well, this is all getting a little bit tired, or I've had an idea. Can we do this? Okay, so let us know. Let me know.
Yeah, Tim, it would also be it would be quite handy between sort of now or nearer to then, if anybody has any questions, either to email you or Dawn or Melanie, so we can build up a list of questions that we can talk about.
Specifics. Yeah.
Because I've been there, kind of done it over the years, and it'd be nice to be able to help people out as much as I can during that talk. Yeah,
we do, and we do. Sorry about my chair. We do tend to forget what we know, so it doesn't all come out. So the best way is always for you guys to ask the questions, and we can respond to those questions. Excuse me. And then just to finish off this roundup of where we're going with the group, in June I think Dawn, Joey Corn, is he confirmed?
Joey Corn, I'm just waiting to hear back.
Okay.
That June's going to work for him, but he'll be another amazing guest speaker.
Okay. Adrian, you've met Joey, haven't you?
Oh, he's I've known him for many years, yes. Great character.
Good. Okay. Excellent. So so that's the next 6 months in terms of our meetings, which I think is brilliant. So but what I do want to encourage you all to do is to literally partake as we have these meetings. Now, if you all decide, when you get your annual subscription, that actually it's far too scary to be in a group like this and talking about your business, then clearly, you won't be sort of joining again for another year. I don't expect any of you to actually take that attitude, but what I'd like to do, maybe in the sort of coming towards the back end of the year, is to actually invite a couple of you for each session to actually talk in a little bit more detail about your business. So that maybe you, instead of the couple of minutes, so maybe that you spend 15 minutes talking specifically about your business in terms of what you're working on at that time. And we'll have a couple of you so that you're not feeling alone. And we can have a bit of a Q&A and a support session or whatever. I don't want it to turn into like Alcoholics Anonymous, but we want to give you support in the way that you're working forward. And I do feel that actually one of the things that I want to talk about in a minute about the marketing side of things, one of the most important things is to get used to talking in a forum such as this, in a group such as this. And for some of you, it's not a problem at all. For some of you, you're like, yeah, this is a walk in the park. What going on about? But for some of you, and of course, actually, this probably applies more to those people that are watching this on playback, not those of you that are present now. But for some of you, the idea of even talking and sharing about your business, which is you're putting yourself in a vulnerable state, probably seems absolutely terrifying, the idea of doing that. But bottom line is, I would like you all to give it a go, because it's really important that you can just develop that confidence and understanding. And actually, this as a forum to do that is the safest space you're ever going to have, because we are all here to support everybody that does that, not to take you apart. So I really do think that's a good role for sort of development as we move forward. So we'll look at that towards the back end of the year. So, any questions on any of that, or does that kind
Melanie's had a hand up. Patience, so patient, Melanie.
That will make a change.
Melanie, and I'm a house and I'm no, sorry. But I was thinking, June, we've got your event in June, Adrian.
Yep.
Which I'll be there, and so will Linda. Yay! And basically, we discussed about maybe doing a leaflet to take there, because there's had people already applied. There was the 80, 90 last time.
Yeah. We've got I've got 40 people booked in already on it. So, we did talk to Tim last time and say, whatever information you want to bring down through, please do so, because, people used to say to me, I'd recommend other people, and they say, well, aren't you we are training other people, doing Heal Your Home courses. And they said, well, aren't you giving your business away? And I said, look, how many billions of houses are there in this world that need to be healed? I can't do them all. So, I'm more than happy to be able to help train as many people in the early days as possible. And the same with the June weekend is, anybody there, get a leaflet, pass it to a friend. It's fine. I'm more than happy to spread the word.
Sorry, Melanie. I was going to say, if you keep nagging me, and we will get a little flyer put together for it. We'll get a hard copy flyer put together. One of the other things that I want to develop with the network is actually, and we talked about it before, like a lot of these things, I'll be covering old ground, but you lot and everybody that will watch this on playback in the network, you're all professional members. You're all the professionals. You're the people that are doing the work. What we want is for the people that are now joining us on the public Facebook group, we want them to become part of our network, but we don't want them to be in these meetings. We don't want them to be in this is the nuts and bolts, how are we doing? We're never going to invite them into these meetings, but we might invite them into the speaker meetings in future, because there's no reason on God's earth why any of them who aren't house healers won't benefit from Joey Corn's presentation, for example. So, but we need to be, I guess we need to be charging them a small subscription fee. I mean, your professional membership is £65 GB now. I guess it will be lower than that. I don't know. Again, I'm open to comments and views on this. Or we could charge people for joining each meeting. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. That doesn't feel so good to me. But you know, a small sub just to join, and they can join the public meetings however often we have them. Let's not discuss that now, but let's bear that in mind, and we'll raise that, and maybe we'll have a poll or something like that on the Facebook group or something, and see how we all feel about it, because I'm quite happy to go with the general overall view. This is not about you know, me just saying this is how it is. We'll go with what everybody thinks. So, okay. So, coming on, one thing I would say is that actually that public Facebook page is gently rolling forward, and thank you everybody that is posting on that. And Linda, again, you know, fantastic. Thank you so much for doing so much on there. And Melanie, of course, does loads of stuff. But I mean, I say of course because bless her, that's partly Melanie is my right-hand lady and my internet presence in that respect. So well done. Thank you both very much. And Dawn, of course, you're putting things in there. So I'm really trying to encourage everybody, please pitch in, put anything up there. That public Facebook page is supposed to be your avenue, all of you, any of you, for conversations with the general public, for anybody that is interested in this modality, anybody that is interested in what we are doing. That's what that page is for. It's not just for me or Adrian or Dawn or Linda to promote their own specific business. And actually, one of the things that Linda you might want to consider in your posts is that maybe you can start to gear some of those posts to ask more questions, try to elicit more response from anybody that might see it on the page, without it being like a direct sales hook. Come and talk to me and I'll charge you X, Y, Z. That's not the point, is it? As you know. But the point is, as we were talking about in November with Adrian, the point is that what we want to do to start with is to open conversations with people. So people that are interested in what we're doing, they will have questions, whether it be about their particular house or somebody else's house, or whether it's just out of interest. There are questions to be asked there from people. So, and again, if anybody that's watching this now hasn't watched the November recording, I would encourage them to go and watch the November recording, because Adrian picked up on some real basics of publicity and marketing. And one of the things he talked about last time in November was a gentle approach to encouraging and kind of putting your arm around people so they don't feel as though they're being sold to. Because what we do is we don't sell, and this is this is absolutely paramount that that we everybody understands this. We do not sell. What we do is we make information available for people, and they choose if they want to come along that path or not. Even though we talk about selling as a concept, it's not selling. And there's this phrase that I use, which is about what we've just done in a way, which is speak to sell. In other words, you give a talk and you sell your product, but you do it in a nice, subtle and gentle way. So speak to sell. And in that phrase, it sounds like we're like, yes, okay, sell. No, we're not selling. We are literally giving information to these people that need it. And quite frankly, I mean, I don't like to, sounds as though I'm blowing my own trumpet, but if you just look at the number of subscribers on my channel, 10,600 and it's nearly 10,700 now. Even that indicates that there's a huge interest in what we do. So if we can give people the free information, then that's great, because they will learn, and it will not stop them coming to us to ask for paid work, it actually will encourage them to come to us to ask for the work that we have to charge for, because there's inevitably work that we have to charge for. Mate, do you want
Tim,
Adrian?
I'm going to have to go, mate, because I've just literally talking about that. I've got a client in the States that I've got because I was off with a virus for a couple of weeks. It's kind of been a bit of a busy old week. So yeah, I'll have to apologise.
No, I appreciate you being here, mate.
But lovely to see you all, and we'll certainly keep in touch. And I say apologise for having to leave a bit early.
It's okay. We're going to go for about 20 minutes.
Okay, if it's a quick call, I might even drop back in.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Cheers, guys. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.
So some of the things that Adrian was talking about last time, I'll quickly run through these just to prod our memories. Building the business takes time. We know that, right? Now, some people say, well, how long does it take? How long does it take before I can get to £2,000? Or how long does it take before I can get to £4,000? Or how long does it take before I can get to £500? It's as long as a piece of string, and it really, really, really does depend on you. Really, really does. There's nobody else that can actually affect that timescale. As you build your business, you build it. What inevitably happens, and it's the standard business model for any business, is that it goes, in terms of turnover, it goes up in plateaus. So you're always going at a level. You'll get to a level where you've got one or two clients, and then what will happen is that you'll go up and you'll get another few clients, and you get maybe 5 or 6, and then you go up. You'll be building, right? It doesn't go like that. Doesn't go up like a curve. It actually just goes in plateaus. So where you are now at the moment, you can expect to be where you are at the moment for a little while. Now, for some of you, that's like, oh, that's not good. But when you're in the startup phase, which some of you are now, you're absolutely in the startup energy. You're in the, what do I do to get this together? Who am I? What am I saying? How do I put this out there? Really, the most important thing that you can do for yourselves is to actually find some way of getting income or having income that is paying your daily bills, so that you're not actually having the pressure of, I've got to get a sale, I've got to get a house heating client, I've got to do this. Because as soon as you get that, believe me, I know this from my video production days, as soon as you have that desperate energy, you're gonna be going everywhere, and all you're seeing is dust and tumbleweed. That is the magic formula for repelling clients. What happens is that desperation carries, and even those people that are the most cynical and obtuse, they pick it up and they think there's something wrong here, and it doesn't work. So you really have to do yourself a favor, and even if it's packaged, I mean, I'll say it, even if it's packing shelves at Tesco's or Walmart or whatever, something to cover your basics so that you're not desperate in the startup phase. Now, that doesn't apply to many of you, but for some of you, maybe that applies. Now, the other thing to always bear in mind is that you absolutely have to draw on the wisdom that you share with your clients. You have to work with the management in order to assist you to move forward. You have to, because your energy is your business, right? We talk in marketing terms about the unique sales point. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, I'm not really in this for making money, for charging people. Maybe you don't need that. But the point is that if you are, then you need to be kind of really doing this aspect of the work, which is really, really connecting and really doing the self-development work in order to make that energy that we are dealing with really work for you. You are your business. Your business is you. And your unique sales point, which is the term that we talked about last time, and is the term that all marketers, all people in business talk about. What is the unique selling point of Coca-Cola? What is the unique selling point of Microsoft? What is the unique selling point of Dawn Kirkham House Healer? Well, the point is that actually the unique selling point of any well-being practice is absolutely 100% the practitioner. You can't even get around that. There's no getting around it. So Linda Lofthouse is the unique selling point of Linda Lofthouse Healing. And that's all there is to it. You don't even need to think about this in terms of how do I structure my marketing so that my USP is clear. What needs to be clear is something slightly different, which is, what does Linda really, really find exciting about the house healing work? What aspect is it that makes Linda different to the other house healers? Because every one of you will have a slightly different aspect that you get really excited about and you get really, keen on. Now, Blossom, of course, we've talked about Blossom before, bless you, with your interest in the Fae, in all of that, in the elemental world, and you as a novelist as well, incorporating all of that creativity into your work. Fantastic, unique sales point. The energy of your stuff, Blossom, that you're now putting out on YouTube. I had a quick look around yesterday at some of it. Really nice. The energy is very unique. It's brilliant, brilliant. And your figures are showing that. The subs figures and the view figures are showing that. It's reflecting the fact that you're putting more energy into it. Fantastic. So what I'm asking you to do, and for some of you, it's like, well, yeah, Tim, we know this. But what I'm asking you to do is to really think about and really feel your way into what is it that really, really excites you about the work that you're doing. Because that is the thing that will bring the clients to you that you really enjoy working with. And also as a startup, which some of you are, or you're just really literally taking off and you're having to put so much energy into the starting phase, because you have to put more energy into this in order to get the thing rolling. And then what happens is that the business actually takes on a momentum of its own once you've got it rolling, and once you've got clients who are kind of seeking you out and want you to work with them. And once you get to that stage, it's a different kind of energy. So you need to decide, and some of you will already know this, most of you will already know, you need to decide, are you doing this full time? 5-6 days a week. Don't do it 7 days a week, for God's sake. Are you doing it full time? Are you just wanting to do it a couple of days a week? Decide and work it out so that you know where you're kind of aiming for and where you're feeling it, right? What I mean by feeling it is literally that, so that you know, yeah, okay, this is me, this is part of me, but I also want to do other things. I want to do painting or whatever it be, or gardening, or, I mean, here, I could do with some time to decorate the house, for God's sake. But, just decide what that balance is for you. Set the boundaries in place. Like we were talking to Nicola about earlier on, set the boundaries. It's your work. And although it's a mind and energy body based practice, well, not although, in fact, it's imperative, as Dawn was saying, it's imperative because it's a mind and energy based business that you do set the boundaries so that you really can just be a normal human being doing whatever you want to do as a human being for some of your working week. Imperative. You never underestimate the power of the subtle energy that we work with. And some of that power, if we're not correctly balanced with it and working with it all the time, it will knock you off course. It will upset you mentally. And this is not a game. In the immortal words of the management, this is not a game. And it's not about how great and how much fun this is. This is really, sorry, but it is really important work. Well, that's taken me by surprise. Sorry about that. That's homeopathic remedies working through. So no, bless. It's the important. We know what the important thing is. We know why we're doing it, and we're each doing it for different reasons, and that is absolutely as it should be, because the uniqueness of each one of us is what makes it so magnificent. And don't ever forget that each and every one of you is utterly magnificent. in all your capacities. I mean, truly. And that's all you're here to, and that's all any of us are really here to learn and understand. Okay, and that is it. But we've chosen to behave and be in this modality. Okay, so that's fine. Right, now, I was
Tim,
going
just
go on.
while you
Yeah.
gather yourself, maybe just a couple of things that I'd like to add to that, and definitely reinforce what you've just been saying, Tim, around, we are all unique and we are all, amazing in the fact that we've put our hand up and stepped into this work, and it is truly important work to be doing, but life-changing for us as well as people. But I also just wanted to remind us all that the things that we do for other people, we can do for ourselves as well, and how we work, with subtle energy for our business as well. So our businesses have a spirit. There's a spirit of our business. So there's a consciousness of our business that we can tap into, that we can build a relationship up, and we can work in partnership with that spirit, so that we're utilizing the intelligence, the consciousness of the business as well. And so I would definitely advocate for everybody to reach out and tap in. And I do have a nice little meditation, and maybe, Tim, I could set up some time separately. I could maybe do a little Zoom and take people through a spirit of the business meditation, so I can offer that out to the group. And then the other thing is, you've all identified where your power spot is. And really, it isn't just, nice to know where our power spot is. We can work with our power spot. So we can sit in our power spot and think about our business, think about, where it is that we want to take our business, ask for some, guidance to be downloaded in our, in our power spot. We can put our logo, piece of paper with our logo and our business name, and ask it to be empowered through our power spot and sent out, across the universe. So I think there are some things that we forget to do as house healers, where we get to work with the subtle energy aspects of our business as well, and we become very active in the doing of the kind of the 3D side of growing our business, which is really, really important. And we forget to do some of that, kind of subtle energy, spiritual side as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dawn. Absolutely. And yes, meditation, set up another group. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Really, really good idea. And I would encourage you all to join that. What I want to do is just, before I got slightly sidetracked, what I want to do is just give you some examples of this USP concept. So for the next sort of 5-10 minutes, and then we'll draw things to a close. But and the best way to do this, I thought, was to actually just ask you all, just quick raise hands. How many of you know of Bruce Lipton, for example? Bruce Lipton, yeah, okay. So, Jenny, how would you describe Bruce Lipton? Who is he? Press your button.
I haven't read anything by him, but I've come across a lot about him on Facebook and through other friends. And I know he is, to me, he's a healer and an energy field worker. And he's part of a group of them, Joe Dispenza and others. So yeah, I tend to follow it when I can.
Yeah, that's fine. Good. Who else put their hand up? Who else knows Bruce? Yeah, well, Anya, go. Yeah, go.
I had
Yeah,
the same.
that'll be.
I've got the book. That's as far as it goes.
An excellent book. It's excellent. Well worth reading.
Yeah,
It is.
okay, I'll trust
Okay.
you. Thank
It
you.
is. Okay, so yeah, well, it sort of gives the game away. So yeah, he's a writer. He's an ex-biologist. This is the key thing. And so what he, how he puts himself out there. So his kind of, you know, his wow, it's the USP is that he was a cell biologist, and he refers to people as liminal cells or something like that. I can't remember the details. But he talks about humanity in the same way as the cells in the body. So the separate nature of the cells in the body, but they're all working together. Things that they're doing their own thing, but they're working together. Humanity is the same thing. And of course, he is, as Jenny says, part of that group of amazing experts who have really opened up and pushed the wave of change forward in that healing sense. In the same way as, you know, Lynn McTaggart is slightly out there on a similar kind of branch. So we've got people like Bruce. We've got hands up, Greg Braden. Who knows Greg Braden? Yeah, slightly less. Okay, but so Greg is a writer and a researcher. The key thing, I was thinking, well, what's his USP? And do you know what? I don't know exactly what it is. He is Greg Braden, and anybody that's seen him instantly recognizes him and knows exactly what they're in for. Every time you see a Greg Braden video, you know exactly what he's going to be, the way that he's going to be imparting a message. He is a brilliant communicator, and he's been in this communications field for a long, long time. Now, David Icke. Let's say, who knows David Icke? Who knows of David Icke? Oh, okay, just a couple. Right, okay. So I categorized him as like the original conspiracy theorist. So yeah, interesting guy. Actually, a lot of alternative thinking. And I would even say somebody like Russell Brand actually owes quite a lot to David Icke. He is the sort of grandfather of alternative thinking. No matter whether you feel that you resonate with his energy or not, and personally, you know, not so much for me, but because there's so much anger in him that really is yeah, he's still there. But actually, just name drop, I met him. He's actually a lovely guy. And having met him, I understand, you know, what he's trying to do and the passion that he brings to his work. But he is what he is. But the thing is, in terms of marketing and USP, you say David Icke, and everybody knows what they're in for when you mention David Icke. So it's a USP that he's developed. Now, of course, these are well-known people, and what I'll do is I will. There's just one other lady who is not well known I want to mention, and then what I'll do is I'm actually going to post a link in Facebook for you guys to have a look at and have a think about, and I'll just write a little bit about this USP so that you can think about it a bit more for you know, our next meeting in a few months' time. But I want to draw your attention to a lady called Shehnaz Soni. Shehnaz Soni, she's Pakistani, I believe, originally. She lives in America at the moment. She's a rocket scientist. Fantastic. So she has literally just, she's just been on one of the big podcasters, very big podcasters, talking about quantum physics and the way that we live in the quantum field. But she literally is a rocket scientist, and I thought that was so hilarious that it's there. You know, that's her label, but her USP is that she I think it was an X. I think she did used to work for NASA. She doesn't anymore, but she's now offering, you know, coaching services and all the rest of it. And what we'll do is next time, because we are getting on with time, we'll talk a little bit more about this concept of coaching as part of the well-being practice. I'll be joining with Adrian. I know Adrian will have his own ideas about some of this stuff as well, but we'll talk a bit more about that because actually the way that we work with the client is still an energy based way, a talking methodology, but it really can make a big difference to your business and the way that you relate to people and the way that the cash flow comes through your business. If you start to think about yourself in a mentoring / life coaching capacity, as well as just this label of house healer, which is why I introduce myself on the videos as I'm Tim Walter, a house healer and alternative life coach. The reason for that is, as we've touched on before, it's because a lot of this work is about just helping the individuals to really recognize who they are in truth. And a life coach as a label can do that. We'll talk more about that next time, perhaps. Okay, Dawn, thank you. That was, thank you. Back to you.
So we are at our closing time. It's been a great meeting. I've loved hearing from you all about where you're at. I've loved your questions, and thanks Tim and Adrian. Adrian did pop back, so he's in here somewhere. There we go. So thank you, Tim and Adrian, for your wisdom. Melanie, I think you have a question. Got your hand up there.
Sorry to keep putting my hand up. Basically, I'm interviewing Tim on the eZoom next. Does anybody know what the eZoom is? Earth Energy Zoom? Basically, it's a thing that's created. Adrian will know because Chris was there last year, wasn't he?
Mm.
Basically, there are dowsers that started up during lockdown and did it all remotely. And it's now, I think we've got 171 members worldwide. I checked this morning. And so they're all remote and anyone can join in, it's free. I'll put I should put a flyer up on the Knights Rose page. And Jenny, I think you're a member, aren't you, Jenny? I can't remember. No, I'm getting my.
I'm a member.
Anyway, you are a member, Dawn, yes, and Linda is as well. But basically, we have different speakers, and I've invited Tim to talk about the network. So we're going to talk about that as well as you on the day after I give my talk on magic. So, and I'm waiting for that draft. So if anybody's interested, it's free and it's recorded. Most times it's recorded. So if you are somewhere else where you can't watch it, you can watch the replay. And we've got people, lots of people in Canada. We've got people in America all over coming, and it's growing every day. It's free, and it's everyone's talking, and it's where you'll have all these people that you'll be able to contact. And we're hoping to have a website soon as well, so we can advertise the Knights Rose and all sorts of things. So there's other ways of advertising and promoting what you're doing. So just thought I'd mention it.
Thanks, Melanie. Linda, I will pass it on to you in a moment. I just want to do a quick plug. I will be talking about the network as well because I've been invited to be on the panel for International Dowsing Day. So that's Graham Gardner's and Susan Collins's Zoom that they have. I'm going to be talking about house healing, and we'll be putting a little plug in for the network. And also I will be doing an article in the British Society of Dowsers as well. So I will be giving a nod to the network too. So really good opportunities to get the word out there for sure. Linda.
Yes, Dawn, I wanted to ask you actually, because I noticed from a couple of your posts that you do this. Is there any, is it worthwhile having a stand at a mind, body, spirit event for house healing? I've noticed you've done it with other things that you do, but does it actually bring results for house healing?
It really does. I do a lot of mind, body, spirit fairs. And sometimes I'll just have a table. I won't be doing any kind of therapies or anything like that, but I'll just have a table and I'll have signs that says, have you heard of geopathic stress? Ask me. And literally I'm just talking to people about the work and getting it out there. I normally have some rods and pendulums. I'll do some little demos at the table. I might sell some rods and and pendulums, but basically I'm just talking about the various aspects of house healing, and inevitably I will get clients from there and sometimes it's like 6 months, 12 months down the line, and they come back to you and they say, I met you at that Mind Body Spirit fair, and here I am, I want some work done. So for me, it's been a phenomenal way in which to get my not really the business out there, but as Tim said, you are your business, so you're connecting with people, and they make that kind of energetic connection with you. So it's been good for me.
They are great. They're great, Linda, for building your mailing list. So have a clipboard with a template to collect names and email addresses, and people can just sign up, and they'll give you that. But also what I would suggest is, as Dawn said, take some rods, take the pendulum, and expect to spend most of the day standing there showing people about dowsing and giving them dowsing rods. So what I would suggest is that actually, in an ideal world, take somebody else with you who can be looking after your space while you're doing a lot of talking around to people that will come to you. Because I have to say, when I've done them in the past, I don't do them anymore, but when I did them in the past, I spent the entire day just teaching people how to douse, and they go away having left then an email address. They're absolutely buzzing. So it works. As Dawn said, don't expect necessarily to get results straight away. It's not a quick fix, but it's great for building a network and for building the mailing list.
Yeah, I also put a doll's house on the table, and like the little lines going through, because again, it's a good visual. Because inevitably these events have lots of kind of psychics, tarot readers, and they're the draw for people. And so it's like, well, what is it that you do at your table? So that's, I also, I always find a power spot in the room, so I can take people to power spots. I can measure their aura fields before and after, lots of interaction. I'm exhausted at the end of it, but they are very enjoyable, I have to say. But I'm glad when they're over. But you do get to promote your business.
Thank you. I was hovering with whether it was the right venue for house healing, but you've answered that. Thank you.
So thank you all. I'm looking forward to Melanie next time. That's going to be a really great session. So that is the second Wednesday in March. Which date? I have no clue. You probably have that in front of you, Tim.
Is it the 12th, 13th?
I
Kind
think
of around that time.
Yeah.
Around there. We will. I'll pop something up. This is 13th, thank you. I'll pop something up on the Facebook page. Melanie, if you've got an image that you'd like me to add to your to the Facebook event, let me know. If not, I will find one and select something appropriate. And have a fantastic month, everybody. Do get out there, do your thing, enjoy it, have fun, and be well.
Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Everyone, thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
Cheers, Melanie. Cheers, Tim. Cheers, Dawn.